You're sitting in a cafe with friends, everyone is laughing and talking, and suddenly you catch yourself thinking that you haven't been listening to the conversation for the last 5 minutes because you're stuck in a memory of how you said something wrong to a colleague 3 days ago, and now you're going over 20 ways you could have responded better in your head. Sound familiar? Here's what no one explained to you. Your problem isn't that you think too much, it's that you were never taught how to properly operate this machine called consciousness. Imagine that you were given a state-of-the-art supercomputer, but the instructions were in a language you don't know, and now you're just poking at all the buttons in hopes that something will work. That's exactly how your brain is working right now. We spend 16 years in school, studying integrals, the periodic table, memorizing dates of battles that will never be useful, but no teacher ever told us. This is how your brain processes information. This is how thinking habits are formed. This is how you can control your attention. It's like teaching someone to drive a car, but only explaining the theory of the internal combustion engine, and then wondering why they keep crashing into poles. Every day, approximately 60,000 thoughts pass through your head, most of which are triggered automatically, without your involvement, like programs on a computer that turn on by themselves when the system boots up. You don't even notice half of them until you suddenly find yourself in a spiral of anxiety, wondering what someone you last saw in 2015 will think of you. And this is where it gets interesting. Your brain works in 2 main modes. The first mode is when you are focused on a specific task, reading a book, solving a problem, driving a car on an unfamiliar route. The second mode kicks in when you relax, let go of your concentration, and that's when your brain turns into a time machine. It starts digging into the past, looking for moments when you looked stupid, said something wrong, or missed an opportunity. Then it switches to the future and paints pictures of all the possible disasters that could happen tomorrow, in a week, or in a year. This mode is called the passive brain mode network, and it is absolutely normal. The problem is that no one has explained to you how to deal with it, so you become a hostage to your own internal cinema, which shows horror movies on repeat. You know what's crazy? We feel ashamed of being mentally exhausted while trying to keep a shopping list in our heads, chat in 3 different chat rooms, remember whether we turned off the iron, plan tomorrow, and think about what that strange look from our boss during the meeting meant. It's like being ashamed that your feet hurt after running a marathon in flip-flops. Your brain has limited capacity. This is a scientific fact, not a sign of weakness. Imagine that your memory is like a computer's RAM. Open too many programs at once and everything will start to slow down, freeze and work intermittently. That's why by the end of the day, you can't decide what to order for dinner, even though you easily made important work decisions in the morning. It's not because you've gotten dumber in a day, it's because your cognitive resources are depleted. Here's a specific tool that will change everything. When you catch yourself starting to wind yourself up, stop and say out loud, or to yourself what exactly is happening. Not just, I'm nervous, but specifically, I'm replaying yesterday's conversation in my head, or I'm imagining catastrophic scenarios for tomorrow's meeting. It sounds ridiculously simple, but it works on a neurophysiological level. When you name the process, you automatically create distance between yourself and the thought. You cease to be the thought and become an observer of the thought. It's like the difference between standing in the middle of a highway where every car hits you and standing on a bridge above that highway watching the cars go by. The cars haven't gone anywhere, there are just as many of them, but you are no longer in their way. Now let's talk about why you can't fall asleep even though you're tired. As a dog, you lie down in bed, close your eyes, and suddenly your brain decides that now is the perfect time to present all your life mistakes in PowerPoint format. This happens because you have no boundaries between active mode and rest mode. Your brain doesn't understand when it's time to shut down because you've never taught it to make that transition. There is a simple technique that physically changes the way your nervous system works. Breathe on a count of 2, 4, 8. Inhale for 2 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 8. This is not mysticism or esotericism, it is physiology. A long exhalation activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxation. You literally switch your brain from fight or flight mode to everything is fine, you can relax mode. It's like Alt plus tab for your consciousness. 3 minutes of this breathing, and you will feel the difference. Not because you have become calmer as a person, but because you have given your body a clear command in a language it understands. Another thing that will blow your mind: emotions are not just good or bad, normal or lousy. The more accurately you can name your emotion, the easier it is to deal with it. This is called emotional granularity, and it is your secret weapon. The difference between "I feel bad" and "I feel disappointed that the project didn't work out, but I'm also curious about how I can do better next time" is the difference between drowning in a swamp of vague feelings and having a concrete map of the terrain. When you say, "I'm stressed," your brain doesn't know what to do with that. It's too broad. But when you say, "I'm overwhelmed by competing deadlines and feel like I can't keep up," that's something you can solve. You can prioritize, you can delegate, you can revise deadlines. Start expanding your emotional vocabulary. Instead of angry, try irritated, indignant, upset, indignant. Instead of sad, disappointed, depressed, melancholic, grieved. Each word is a separate tool, and you are now trying to build a house with only a hammer. Want to know what really works 100% of the time? Pre-commitments. Psychologists call this implementation intentions, and research shows that it doubles your chances of success. Not increases them by 10%, but doubles them. The idea is simple. Instead of thinking, "I'll spend less time on my phone," you create a clear rule. If it's 9 p.m, I put my phone in another room. Instead of "I'll stop stressing myself out," you say, "If I notice that I'm starting to replay the same conversation for the third time, I do 2-4-8 breathing and switch to a specific action." You program your behavior in advance, eliminating the need to make a decision at a moment when your brain is already overloaded. Your brain loves patterns and hates decisions. Give it ready-made patterns and it will be happy. It's like creating hotkeys for life. If you feel anxious, start the breathing protocol. It works flawlessly if the trigger is specific enough. "If I'm stressed" won't work. "If I notice that my shoulders are tense and raised to my ears while I'm sitting at the computer," that will work. Everything you've just heard isn't theory. It's the operating instructions for the machine you were given at birth, but they forgot to include the manual. You're not broken. You've just been working blindly all this time, pressing buttons at random. Start with one tool. Just one. Don't try to change everything at once. That's the very thing we're trying to overcome. Choose one thing, naming your thoughts out loud, or a breathing technique, or creating one clear if-then rule. Practice it for a week, then add a second one. Small changes, constant practice, results that grow like a snowball. The person who lies awake at 3 a.m, replaying 5-year-old conversations in their head, that person wasn't wrong, they just never got the instructions. Now they have. What you do with that is your choice.